Hi, it's What If Wednesday time with Susan Bennett Fisher and Martin Fisher, the co-founders of Body of Nine. We decided to do a live today just for fun.
Yep.
And we've been having such an amazing week. We launched our new book, Sacred Redesign, on Friday with the 26 other authors of that amazing book. And we wanted to talk a little bit today about the experience. Yeah, the experience and why it was important.
With 26 authors, and the entire project is the brainchild of Adriana Monique Alvarez, she who runs Amma Publishing. And we were lucky enough to run into Adriana through a set of very fortuitous circumstances about a few months ago.
A dinner or so, I guess, yeah.
And we identified her natural number, and it was profound for her. It helped her understand how she had got to where she was at and why she was the way she was, and helped her dramatically improve her relationships with everyone around her, especially her family.
So this started with that experience, and Adriana realized very quickly that she wanted to support us and to help us get Body of Nine out into the world more actively.
And we wanted to support her because she's doing amazing work helping many, many coaches and other people build their publishing capabilities so that they can self-publish many, many books for many of authors about various things. And she's leading by doing. She's not just teaching people to publish, she's actually publishing herself. And that is how Sacred Redesign came about.
Right. She invited us to participate. And we started writing our chapter and thinking about it. And I went back to her and I said, Adriana, what if we added Body of Nine as a context and identified all the authors? And she thought, oh, that's a great idea. So we started out with just identifying the authors. We offered to identify the authors. And we started offering events for all the authors to get their natural number identified through our online process in group settings. And it was really fun. And it started to really land within the community of authors. And I sent an email to Adriana one day and said, what about if we include this as a context? And she's like, yes, she was all over it right away. And so that began the holding of Sacred Redesign with the container of Body of Nine.
So why is it important that each of these authors has been identified? Two reasons. Firstly, because it gives us the ability, the readers of this amazing work, the ability to understand where each of the authors are coming from. What is their context? Why are they telling us what they're telling? And secondly, because this is the first time we've ever been able to help people move the universe forward, move humanity forward. Because speaking just for myself, when I read a book from multiple authors, there's some authors that, I get what they're saying, I can resonate with that. But many of the authors, I don't even know why they're saying what they're saying and how is it important. I get that they think it's important, but why should I think it's important? And because until I understood the context of 9 different kinds of people in the world, each having their own natural number, it didn't make any sense to me why people were telling me stuff that didn't make any sense to me.
So the messages get clearer when you understand the voice that is speaking those messages and the fundamental underlying biological, physiological purpose that they perform in the whole of the 9. And with that context of 1 through 9, each bringing their gift, with a clarity around what that gift is, it lets you hear and understand and take in the wisdom that they're offering you.
And them knowing their natural numbers enable them to be more vulnerable and connect into what is their natural purpose. When you read their chapters, you realize that there is an amazing consistency for each of the natural numbers, giving the wisdom of that natural number. Because with 9 different kinds of people in the world, we have to understand that people are different than us, but they have something very valuable for us to hear.
Yes. The other really amazing part of this experience is how this community came together consciously to create even more success. I think it's one of Adriana's most successful books to date.
Yes, it went live yesterday and it was on bestseller lists in 4 countries, in 3 continents. in the UK, in Canada, in the US, and Australia. It hit the bestseller list. And so we think that's relatively unique, and it happened very quickly. And the book is still available to be purchased and will be available to be purchased in e-form and will become paperback within the next few months.
Weeks,
great, even sooner. And so it's a very important document because it helps move humanity forward. And that is what Body of Nine is about. We really think that we can help you have a better, more fulfilling life. And this book actually helps that too.
And what it's only 99 cents, and it's people have asked.
It may have gone up today.
But no. I asked Adriana yesterday. It does not go up.
Okay, because
she holds the Kindle price the same, 99 cents.
I thought it was going up. Somebody else from somewhere was saying it was going up.
Nope.
Great. If not,
99
correct.
cents. 99 cents for in perpetuity.
Awesome.
And the proceeds from the sale of the Kindle have been donated to a water resource management foundation. So they go to a nonprofit. So you have supported goodness in the world in many, many ways by buying our book. If you haven't yet, please still do buy the book. Go on Amazon.com and search for Sacred Redesign and get your 99-cent copy. If you're a physical reader, a couple of weeks. Yeah. Keep your eye out. Shoot us a note. We'll let you know when it comes out. We're pretty excited about getting it in our hands as well because it's beautiful as well as powerful.
And keep your eye open for new things, new books from Hammer Publishing, because this is only the first of many that we expect to be having the authors pre-identified and giving the world a way to better hear what each of us has to offer.
Yes, her fall offering will also have Body of Nine as a context within. And we're working with all those authors to even more consciously and actively bring forward their natural abilities and wisdom in a much more, even more comprehensive and cohesive way than we did in this book. So it's very, very exciting. Very, very big beginning. So what made this launch so successful was the way that the nine collaborated together. Every single author brought their wisdom out. They put into their community of people, they put their messages and their wisdom and their stories about why this book was important and what they did and why they did it out into the world all at once. And we worked together to raise the awareness that this book was now available. And we all brought our communities together as a whole to have the most impact we could possibly have. So coming together as all nine around this amazing concept of how do we redesign our lives in a way that's sacred and in alignment with who we are. Now, if you'd like to find out your natural number, the way you do that is you go on bodyof9.com and you can book an individual identification with us. If you use Adriana's code A Alvarez 2022-PP, you'll get a 20% discount on your identification if you want an individual one.
Yeah.
We will also be offering some group ones moving forward. If you are on a budget, we really truly believe that everybody in the world should know their natural number.
So we'll be offering group identifications where you can sign up for a lower cost.
Yeah, just let us know. Mm-hmm. Again, just let us know and we'll put you on the short list for those kinds of activities. Because we truly believe everybody should know and cost should not be the thing that keeps you from doing it. But if you want a half an hour with Martin and Susan to really dig deeper into who you are and why and how your body's informing you, then I would urge you to do an individual identification.
Or better yet, do a family identification and understand the dynamics within your family. If you would need to know how your children really want to be raised, rather than how you think they should be raised, this is the place to go understand that. Because your children are not like you, your partner is not like you, and your parents are not like you. Deep down, you know this. And this Body of Nine work is an explanation of why and how people miscommunicate. Because the things that your partner cares about, the things that your parents care about, the things that your children and your brothers and sisters care about are not the same as what you care about.
Right. Your natural number probably won't show back up in the family until your children have children.
Yeah, a couple of generations.
And so your impact in the family is very, very important. You might have cousins that share a natural number with you, but you don't have brothers and sisters unless there's more than 9 of you in the family, of course. Then you can.
And there's probably a grandparent that you connected to more than even your parents at times.
Yes.
And just remember, when you were growing up, did your parents always honor you for who you were, or were they confused by who you were? This is why, because they don't share your natural number. hopefully they loved you. Hopefully they did their best. But even their best is not enough because they didn't know who you were.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the other authors.
Yeah, go ahead.
And what they brought to the experience. The first author, one of the first authors that got her chapter done was Andrea Blint. She is natural number one. And what was really cool about Andrea's chapter, she was truly vulnerable. She showed us what vulnerability really looks like. And that's one of the functions and ways of being for natural number one. The movement area is the throat. And she went through some pretty traumatic things. And she found that using her oneness, which is her connection to the source of creation, to create in the world, she was able to heal the deep wounds that she experienced. I noticed that the power of her words around creativity as healing and creativity as redesigning, as redefining who we are, as an amazing source. And then I saw that theme appear in the chapters for the other people with natural number one. Both Dina Murray and Camilla Phyllis Arnold both talked about how important the act of creation is. And my mother, she's a natural number one also, and always is like, oh, what are we going to do today? What are we going to make? What are we going to create? And how do we bring that creativity to define us and to heal us and to heal and define others as well? So natural number one was just a beautiful, beautiful new learning for us on the depth and the power of creativity.
And each of the other chapters, the authors found their place of vulnerability, found their place to be able to speak their truth. And for those of you that have written work that's been published, you know how vulnerable it feels, and how vulnerable if you really want to be heard, you have to speak from the heart. And these guys, knowing their natural numbers, help them speak from the heart.
Very much so. We had a lot of nines in the book. We had, I think, 3 nines. Mm-hmm. And each of those nines, one of the things we experience with nines, because they are such big, giant cosmic beings, sometimes we don't understand what they say or why they say it. They do things differently. We all do. But for some reason, because 9 is everything, it has a component of all of the natural numbers in that, because it holds everything. So they were talking at a much bigger, broader level about the ability to influence the world without using any force, and with harmony and flow and balance, and these concepts that they live into on a daily basis. And there was an interesting concept brought up by Emily Tuck, one of the natural number 9 authors, which is that we can redesign, we can affect our own epigenetics, which is the way that our DNA strands are unpacked and then realigned in some level to change our the ancestral damage or experiences that have happened in our ancestral part that have actually been informing our DNA today. This is a pretty complex subject.
So think of it as the mechanism of karma. It is how the things that happened in the past to or from your ancestors are still with us today.
And I really truly believe this. My own personal story in the book, it was, I woke up in my 30s in a karmic situation that had been created many generations before I got into it. All unbeknownst to me. I thought I was a pretty normal, healthy, happy, fortunate human, which I am. Both.
Yes.
And yet I woke up in the middle of this karmic mess that had been going on in our family for generations. Secrecy, addiction, abuse. And I had married myself into this terrible situation. And it was through that trauma of being groomed and abused myself through that situation that I had to go out and rediscover who I was.
The sacred redesign of your life.
My sacred redesign of my life. And that's my story, part of my story. And then Martin's and our story is in there too. It's like how we have a love story that started
when we first met.
It's true. We fell in love right away. And I had just married my second husband at the time, 2 weeks before. And we knew at some level that we were meant to be together.
It just took us 13 years after we lost touch.
Yeah.
But the universe helped. I mean,
yes.
That is part of the message of hope that we like to keep delivering. People have been asking us. We've been very fortunate to do a lot of podcasts over the last week or two about this book. And the message is always, well, what makes us hopeful?
Yes.
What makes us hopeful is this book. What makes us hopeful is Body of Nine, because this is a way out. For the first time, I feel comfortable that by doing this, humanity can move forward. Humanity can recover from the mess that we're in.
There's an evolution that is needed, that where we connect back to our nature and allow our nature to lead us forward. It is the place where we're whole. No matter what our nurture is, this is the place where we don't have to work at being magical.
We connect to our natural purpose. We connect to our natural self. We honor ourselves, and we can honor the people around us. Imagine in a world where your children feel honored for who they are, not for who people think they should be. Imagine a world where you get on with people because you understand them and you can recover from those things that affect you. You can get to this place where someone does you wrong, but you can recover because it's actually a physical process just to get back to who you are.
Yeah, and it's not a panacea.
Not at all.
You know, and our life isn't perfect. You know, we have struggles,
human,
and our family has struggles, but what we are doing in our family is working to heal these multi-generational challenges, to bring them to light, and to enable each person in the family to bring their function and their gift forward as an equally honored member of the family.
If you know your nature, you can then detect what is the nurture. And if you can detect the nurture, you can detect what it is that you really don't want to have nurture you. And there's a lot of things out there that people try to nurture us into fear.
Yes.
They nurture us into a place of control. If you know your natural number, if you know who you are at your fundamental level, if you know your natural purpose because you know your natural number, that's a very, very powerful place to be.
It's freeing. It puts you at choice. We have developed behaviors over the course of our lives that are grounded on deep-seated belief systems. And when those deep-seated belief systems are unconscious, we can be controlled.
And the nice thing about this book is that the authors are speaking for their natural purpose, from their natural number.
Offering you an opportunity or a way to redesign your life that you might not actually think about.
Because I guarantee it that one of these authors, probably two, certainly depending on the natural
At least two.
At least two of these chapters will speak to you very, very profoundly. And probably, if you give the rest a chance, if you understand why they're trying to tell you what they tell you, every one of the 26 authors in this book will touch your heart. It's an amazing book.
It also lets you have much more openness and tolerance and acceptance of different opinions, ways of being, belief systems, all the things that we do present out in the world. So rather than being triggered by something that's not familiar or counter to your own belief system, it helps you to stay open to hear. So what is my friend's, Emily talk as a 9? What the hell what the daylights is she talking about when she's talking about redoing your epigenetics so that you can heal past karma? That can sound pretty woo-woo, but it has actually based in our bodies. Mm-hmm. So maybe we open to a different possibility and actually heal multi-generational trauma. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to sit down with her and help her help me.
Yeah.
Because
everybody has intergenerational trauma.
We all have it.
It's just sometimes it's hard to acknowledge and admit that.
Right. So how do you redesign multi-generations, and what happens? How does that affect the family systems? This is fun stuff, guys.
It's very powerful. Another part of knowing your natural purpose, knowing your natural number, is if somebody tells you something you disagree with, and if it's not in alignment with your natural purpose, your natural number, it doesn't have to affect you. You don't have to get angry because someone disagrees with you. They're on a different path. They think and mean different things. This is a way...
And it's equally right.
Equally right. This is a way to step out of the conflict that has been artificially generated over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
When we separate from each other, we can be controlled again. Yeah. And we separate even further with using our judgment to separate each other. This was a beautiful example of coming together with a group of people who didn't know each other at all, to build something together that is much greater than the sum of the single contributions or the sum of those contributions. It becomes something more.
Once you get to a place where you can choose what you believe, what you know is true, you don't feel that you have to push back against things that you know not to be true. It doesn't matter because it's not true to you.
Right. And this is body-based.
Yeah.
So it's your physio-spiritual nature, which means your body can help you recover so quickly. You know, just a simple physical adjustment you get with your when you get your natural number identified.
Show them the
collapsing list?
Yeah.
Yeah. This goes with the book. The exercise for with the book. Just collapse your body, just relaxing all the muscles and bones. And then take a breath while you're down there, relaxing even more. And then as you breathe in, just allow your body to lift and stretch up to be as tall as you can be. And you will have naturally lifted and aligned your body from your movement area.
You don't have to know your natural number for this to be useful.
And accurate.
It works in every situation. Even if you're in a meeting and you just need to go, okay. That sitting up straight, and mothers were right about posture, will change the way that you experience the world and enable you to recover to a place of confidence and calmness.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
And the more you practice and activate your natural number in your body, the more you begin to understand, well, what's my nurture and what's my nature, and how do I weed my way through that? The authors of this book were just beginning to do that. Mm-hmm. And yet they all, when they went to summarize their work, they all went back to the core messages that we get consistently over and over again from each of the natural numbers.
It's very clear that our natural self is a very powerful entity. And it has been beaten down potentially by almost your entire life. But as soon as it's allowed to come out, as soon as it is invited to reappear, it comes out quickly and strongly. This is not, even though it's a physical process, it doesn't take years and years for you to recover to who you are. And we pretty much guarantee, if you get identified, that within 6 months to a year, you're going to feel happier and more in alignment with your path, because that is what has happened to every one of the 8,000 plus people that we've worked with.
And if you embrace it fully the way Adriana did,
it happens a lot faster.
When she got her husband identified, her 2 sons, everything in their family, then she got her mother and her father. And all of a sudden, all this mystery of relationship started to disappear, and they were able to engage in brand new supportive ways. And I want to talk a little bit about Adriana and her chapter. And, 7 is an incredibly vulnerable natural number. But we don't know that because they do whatever they need to do. They can be funny, they can be challenging, they can be entertaining, they can be deep, they can be, quick. So many ways of trying to get you to achieve your full potential. And that's really what they're here to make the world a better place by helping all of us to achieve the full potential that's laid out in the possibilities at a universal level. Mm-hmm. What's not already here and what's partly here, all together are one. And Adriana continually lives so consistently with this purpose. But she takes flack. She gets criticized because she doesn't let go of her purpose and her truth. And it is beautiful. And we need to honor that in each other. I love what Emily Tuck said. She said, it's like you knew the secret me. Yes. You knew the part of me that I kept secret. We don't need to keep this secret, guys. We need this out in the world because your magic is important.
And you may not even know who the secret you is, except subconsciously. Right. Maybe just before you go to bed or when you just wake up.
Or those magical moments of performance when something really works. But how do you get back to it consistently? It's by knowing your natural number. I also want to talk about Derek. Derek has natural number 2. And we first met him in Scottsdale, and he came along. Adriana brought the family, her boys and her husband, and he just welcomed us and engaged with us. There was no judgment. There's no, oh my God, you're taking Adriana away from us on a whole weekend. And they respected and danced with this amazing interaction for all of us who participated in that weekend. And his ability to hold and engage with all of us and to just be there full on with his boys that whole weekend was just an amazing thing to watch. And now he's written about how fully he engages in life. And this is, I think, something we can learn from Tubes, is what does it mean to engage with yourself, with others, and with your life? It's a beautiful way to live without holding back.
And that is the gift that comes from Adriana and her book and from Adriana and her family. It's a gift that comes from each of the authors. How to live and sacredly redesign your life to this place of the next step, a place of change, a place of evolutionary change. It is really a place that, this is human evolution. This is not natural selection. Okay, this happens, this happens. This is how you can change yourself. By changing yourself, you change the people around you. By changing the people around you, you can change the world. This is actual personal selection, as it turns out. I'm going to use the term personal selection. It's conscious selection. This is not natural selection. This is conscious selection of evolutionary change. Because we can, and we really should.
And we work with coaches and holistic practitioners who are developing a whole group of people that can support you too. So as you get your natural number identified, if you have a coach that you work with, tell them about Body of Nine and how they can support you more powerfully if they understand your natural number and their own. Bodyof9.com. Check it out if you haven't bought the book yet. Sacred Redesign on Amazon. And we really appreciate your love and support for everyone who has already bought the book and everybody that will ever buy the books. Thank you.